America, a country with some of the most brutal criminals in the world. And fighting back are some of the world's toughest cops. Yeah, he's round the back. It's a job where murder, drug wars and gun crime are part of everyday life.
Come here.
A job where doing your duty could cost you your life.
They're running, they're running, they're running! Run! We got one!
Now I'm joining some of these cops on the front line in the battle against the bad guys. We got him.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Maryland, aka Bodymore, Murderland.
On the east coast of the USA, this former industrial port city has been labelled the murder capital of America. Downtown, it's all shiny offices and tourist attractions. But head away from the waterfront and it's a different story. Every week, there are nearly 200 violent crimes and 5 murders. 85% of all homicides here are committed with guns. It's a city with a massive drug problem, where 1 in 10 people is an addict.
One is coming! Ho!
You have anything on you that I should know about?
If you do, we're gonna find it anyway, so it won't make it any harder.
We just got a high-ranking officer called for backup.
I went to my cell and I looked in the mirror and you know what I said to myself? This shit is not working.
Now the police are fighting back. They're mobilising to wage war on the gun-wielding bad guys. And I'm going with them on the city's meanest streets.
It's out of control down there. It's off the hook in Baltimore.
It's a shame. 16 years old.
I'll be kitted out and trained before going out on patrol with Baltimore's finest. I'll meet the elite attack cops of SWAT and then roll with the Violent Crimes Impact Division. I want to know why this town is being so overrun by drugs and guns, and just what the police have to do to keep law and order here. And I reckon the best place to start is at the very top, with Commissioner of Police, Frederick Bielfeld. He has abandoned a zero-tolerance policy in favour of targeting the worst criminals out there.
50% of all the people charged with murder in this city every year had prior gun offenses. Bad guys with guns, they get out of jail, you know what they do? They get guns again.
Yeah. So primarily, it's the guns you're going after.
It really is about the guns, because again, what can everyone agree on? Cops agree that guns are important. Cops get that, and the community gets that. Anywhere you go, people understand bad guys with guns represent a threat to all of us.
In Britain, they said, that's it, ban handguns. Is that not what you need to do here?
It's like trying to count grains of sand on a beach. 30,000 in a good year. In a good year, we'll seize 4,000 guns. 4,000. They sold 30,000.
Yeah.
30,000. You'll never keep up. You can't even keep up with what they sold, let alone what they sell in Pennsylvania and Virginia and Ohio.
See, this is the
all
problem.
these states coming in here.
If you ban it here, they can still bring them in from outside.
Yeah, sure. There are prison cells full of guys for drugs. We lock up drug dealers by the bushel basketful. I'll trade them for a guy with a gun.
I've heard the theory, but now I'm going to see it in practice. Just how do the police decide what's important and what's not? On the front line of this fight is Detective Donnie Moses. He has spent the last 15 years combating the guns and dealers.
When people start shooting, you know, instead of running away from the gunshots, we run to it. And most times, I would say, we're excited to run to the gunshots.
He's given me the inside track on what it's like to be a regular patrol in the city. Today, Donnie's out in the Western District with Officer David White. It's an infamous area of the city with high crime figures and mass unemployment. The summer days are long and hot here, and trouble comes thick and fast.
It's supposed to be a
Guy inside the house tearing the house up, wrecking the house, and he has a knife with him.
The officers are on their way to a domestic disturbance where a young man is threatening his parents. Statewide this year alone, there have been 42 fatal shootings within family homes.
Stay on my hip, on my hip.
The young man is in the kitchen and still arguing when things really kick off.
Bring him down to his face, on his stomach, on his stomach. On his stomach, on his stomach. No. Stop.
Using a taser has brought the problem under control and allows the officer to secure the young man safely.
All right, 35. We have the individual in custody. No officers injured.
Young man apparently was giving his family members a problem. When we tried to gain control of him, tried to talk him out of his rage, it didn't appear to work. Ultimately, we had to tase him. Less than lethal use of force. Once we tased him, we handcuffed him, it's over.
The ambulance came and checked the individual out to make sure that he didn't have any life-threatening injuries. Then from there, right now, we're going to transport him to probably the local hospital. They have to take the prongs that were discharged from the taser. They have to take that out of his back and check his vitals. And then from there, he's going to be sent over to our centralized booking. That's where we process all prisoners. He's going to be charged with assault on police officers.
According to the makers, 170,000 suspects are tasered across the US every year. As a non-lethal response and an alternative to the gun, it's a no-brainer for the cops. By the looks of things, before I can go out on the streets of the city, I'm going to need some serious coaching in quick thinking and instant response.
So here we are at the Baltimore Police Firearms Training Facility. They're going to teach me how to use their guns. Hopefully I won't be getting involved with all that, but they're just going to show me, how to deal with, hostile problems on the street.
I'll be using a simulator, which plays out shootout scenarios. It's a bit like a video game which the cops use to sharpen up their shooting skills.
All right, this is a firearms training system, and we bring recruits, we bring our officers in here. Basically the same kind of weapon that we carry on the streets. It's a Glock Model 22, 40 caliber, and you just aim and shoot.
Well, he's not getting back up, is he?
You ever shoot?
Yep.
Good. Let me see you do it. Yeah, you need some training.
In the movies, even if you miss them, they go down,
Yeah, movies. The movies is the worst thing we can see. I hate movies.
Now I've had a practice, it's my turn to take out the bad guys.
What do you shoot a dog for? The machine stopped us saying you're not supposed to shoot the dog. Secondly, that dog's on a leash. That dog can't hurt you.
Right, okay.
Okay, so we'll continue.
We're going to take care of you.
She got you. See the red border around the screen? He'll replay it. Let's see if you did hit her. You didn't see her draw that gun, did you?
No, not at all.
Watch.
Yeah.
Mister. You got her. That's a non-incapacitating hit, though. That means she's not going to go down. And then she got you, and it's over.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quick.
Tricky one there, right there. You're so focused on him.
Yeah, I was focused on him.
Most police involved shootings are over in 5 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds. It's boom, boom, and that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
Yep.
It does show how quickly you've got to react. And I was watching the guy. He moves out the way, but she pulls the gun out of his back, and she shot the officer and shot me. But it's although it's on a screen, and it's like a game. There you go. That's a real life scenario. That's a real life scenario, isn't it? Just shows what these guys have to deal with.
I've only been in Baltimore for 24 hours, and I've already seen that the police here have no time to mess around. Decisions must be instant, and they are the difference between a good outcome and a bad one. Today I'm going on patrol with officers of the Southwestern District. Of the 9 districts that make up the city, It's one of the most dangerous and drug-ridden. I need to get involved in the action so I can really understand what goes on out on the streets. I arrived just in time for afternoon roll call. We are briefed and assigned our patrols for the day. I don't have a clue what to expect, but I'm a bit nervous after hearing what's gone on the night before.
Last night there was a shooting, 4 people got shot last night, so we'll see how it goes. The only thing I'm a bit apprehensive about is if we get in a car chase. So buckle up and away we go, I should think.
With almost 4,000 assaults on officers every year in the state, body armour is absolutely essential for all cops in the field. I've been in a few cop cars back home, but this is the first time I've ridden shotgun. I'm riding with officers Troy Harris and Tim Hefner through some of the toughest streets in the city. As a rule, a patrol unit will police their local area and call in backup specialist units as and when they're needed. We've been on patrol for just half an hour and it's already kicking off.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
Call 911.
Yeah, just sit tight for me, fella. Right there.
I just saw this guy grab him and just smash him.
Yes.
What's going on?
I'm the father. I'm the father. He's got a warrant on him in Baltimore County for breaking into my business. Today, he decided to break in my house, and he stole my truck, a $50,000 truck.
You have anything on you that I should know about?
You got a name?
Oh, man, if you do, we're going to find it anyway, so it won't make it even harder.
Why are you taking your dad's truck?
I have a heroin addiction.
He's jacked out his head. They're saying that he's wanted in another
In
county.
Essex, I heard that.
And here, actually, what the guys are saying is he hasn't actually done anything here to arrest him for.
He stole from my house today. I understand it's in Hartford County, though. There's no way you can detain him.
It seems to me that what the kid needs is help, but his dad is intent on getting him locked up. I want to know why he feels that jail is the only way to sort his son out.
You know, jail's no good for him. He's got all them things. He's gonna, he's gonna die.
I know it, man. It's my kid. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to have to put him in jail. But you know what? At least I know where he is and he's safe.
Got a chance.
He's got a chance in jail. He don't have a chance.
He don't. I tried telling him before.
Are them places not strong enough then to, like to get him over it?
The rehabs and all, unless he wants it. Unless they ain't no good unless he's ready.
Is he saying, yeah, he's ready now, but then when you get him there,
He's saying
you're
he's
worried
ready because he's got
He's in hot water, right?
15 cops around.
You think he'll change his mind when he gets up there?
When the dope wears off, he'll change his mind.
Yeah. Will he?
Good-hearted kid, but you know what? This drugs are killing him.
This
They're
is
killing him. And it's such a shame.
Yeah,
And you know what? It's out of control down there. It's off the hook in Baltimore. You picked the right place to come find the violence. It's out of control.
What, the drugs or the violence? What?
The violence and the drugs.
The violence comes with the drugs.
Is it easy to get? Is that
It's
the
easy
problem?
to get drugs in here around here, yeah, but it's dangerous. I mean, because especially you pull out a wad of money like that knucklehead had in his pocket. They say, yeah, just go around the corner. They'll shoot him for the money instead of just selling him the dope. You know, it's easier for him.
You don't seem a bad guy. You just need some help,
I appreciate your help, but they're going to release me.
You're a young man, 21. You got life in front of you, you know.
I just got that fear of being dope sick, so that's why
But it doesn't last forever, man. It doesn't last forever. You put a couple of months in and then, see where it goes from there, One step at a time, one day at a time, man.
With no grounds to hold the young man, the officers encourage his dad to take care of him and get some help.
They're going to release you to me. I'm putting you in Bill's truck and you ain't getting out because we're locking you in the back.
I'm sick of living like this.
Okay, I understand you're sick of living like this, but every time I try to get you help, you don't want it.
The father now says he simply wants to take his son to the nearest hospital, hopefully to give him some treatment for his addiction. His son says he'll be happy to do that, and that's where we are now.
Hopefully he'll go and get him some treatment. That would be a big plus out of all this.
Well, we've dubbed Vinnie Hawkeyes now. The investigation leads to a recovered vehicle. Also leads to a young man who said he was out here who's addicted to drugs, and he was actually out here because he wanted to cop some drugs. So a lot of things transpired simply off of Vinnie. So we appreciate the work on that, Chief. Thanks.
Drug-related offences are directly linked to over 2/3 of all crime in the city. Cases like this are all too common, and the police are overrun with incidents. Back on board with Troy and Tim, it's not long before we're called into action again. It's my first high-speed ride through the streets of Baltimore, and it's fast and furious.
We got Signal 13 officer needing assistance. We're trying to find a location and the whereabouts of the officer. Not quite sure what the initiated the call.
At the scene, 3 suspects are in handcuffs already.
You got ID on you, man?
All square right there.
Fuck.
And they got
Suspected at this point, crack cocaine.
Crack cocaine. All suspected crack cocaine.
Yeah.
The driver and passenger of the Jeep Cherokee were delivering narcotics. We interrupted the narcotics deal, the purchase. We watched the exchange. We blocked the vehicle in.
How much do you think's their street value?
A couple thousand at least, easily.
These may be connected to the kid that we saw earlier on. And the state that he's in, why would you feel sorry for these, distributing it? It's their choice. You're not going to stop it.
Yeah. Even for a first-time offender, the punishment can be tough. Jail terms can be anything from 10 to 40 years, depending on the amount. But even that doesn't deter the pushers. Many of them deal again when they're released. It's the end of our shift, and I've witnessed the drug problem here firsthand. We head back in, and I've got plenty to think about on the way. Across town, Detective Donnie Moses is on night patrol with Officer Alan Keats. After the heat of the day, the cool of the evening brings a darker side of the city onto the streets.
We just got a high-ranking officer called for backup. So we're on our way to that location. I mean, at this time, we don't know what's going on, but it sounded pretty urgent, so we're on our way there now.
As Donnie and Alan get to the location, the place is lit up with blue lights and an arrest is in progress.
Hey, Lieutenant. This is the gun that they got off the suspect. Like I said, they got out on a guy they suspected to be armed. When they jumped out, he took off running. He was quickly apprehended. The gun was recovered. We're not going to touch it, but you can see it is loaded. Smith & Wesson with 9mm. With at least 6 rounds.
This was a good gun. It's definitely a good grab off the street. So that's great work. Yep. Great work.
Any gun off the street is a good result for the cops. But as they get back in their car, a report comes in of a shooting nearby.
We got called for discharging of firearms in an alley. We take all of those serious. Because a lot of times you'll get a call for a discharge of firearms, and you'll actually find that you have a victim. So we're gonna get there. This area, they got a store right there, stores across the street, it is empty. Chances are there was discharging around here, and everybody who was here vacated the scene. Back in the alley, it either sounded like fireworks or someone. There we go.
Even though they're armed, it's an extremely dangerous situation for Donnie and Alan. Anyone could be waiting in the shadows. Although it's dark, they still have to make certain of their targets. Without support, they are much more vulnerable to attack.
You never know when you're coming into an alley. You might scare them, and their knee-jerk reaction is to fire at you, even though they may have been protecting themselves to somebody else that was shooting. But nonetheless, you got to be prepared to protect yourself.
We have 2 calls pending, check the 1.
So the other unit that showed up on scene, they said that it was just fireworks, firecrackers. Not uncommon, 4th of July is right around the corner.
Both officers are grateful that it's just a false alarm and that they didn't have to engage anyone tonight.
Even though you may not necessarily be in danger at the moment, you just never know when something could pop off.
But it's not the last incident of Donnie and Alan's shift, and the next call is very real.
Well, at this point, we don't know much. The call has only been out for 5 minutes. Detectives hadn't had a chance to get on the scene yet to evaluate what's happened or the seriousness of it. But we know somebody's been shot, we believe as a result of an armed carjacking. So the night is heating up.
Officers and medics are already interviewing and attending a man who has been shot in the buttocks. Another man has been rushed to the emergency room at the local hospital with a gunshot wound to the face.
They were in the area, probably about a block over from where we are now, driving a BMW when at least one suspect approached, ordered them out of the car, fired the weapons.
Neither of the 2 men are suffering from life-threatening injuries. Detectives are searching the location for any clues.
So right now what we're doing is we're up here at the scene of the shooting, just protecting the crime scene. Everything inside this tape, could be evidence, has to be preserved in its current form and where it's at. Right now, that's our main priority. We now have a medic coming for this victim.
It's this swift response that enables the area to be locked down and any information to be gathered as quickly as possible. The slower the response, the less likely it is that the criminals will be found.
We got 2 different stories from both victims. They said they were carjacked in the area, but we don't know yet. Detectives are still investigating, trying to get to the bottom of it. So only time will tell. It's just about shift change. We're gonna head back to the Eastern District now, so we can let Alan get home and
Alan's happy about that.
Get back. I can get to my family.
The threat of guns is a fact of life in Baltimore and never far from the policeman's faults. So just who do these guys call when they need serious backup? I've been on patrol in Baltimore for just 1 day and witnessed the extent of the city's crime problem. It's everywhere. Now I need to find out just what the police have got to fight this war that looks unwinnable. I pay a visit to the police rifle range to meet the Special Weapons and Tactics team. That's SWAT to you and me. These boys are at the top of the cop tree, trained to the max and armed to the teeth. They're sent in as a last resort when a full-on response with max firepower is needed.
That was impressive. Okay. Yeah, well done, guys.
Officer Zach Wine shows me through some of their arsenal.
Standard handgun, 40 caliber. We carry our handgun. We have lights on the front. This is a 20-inch shotgun. If you hold them up,
20 gauge.
20-inch.
Yeah.
They're all 12 gauges, but you can see by the barrel length that you can shoot a little further, a little more distance with this. But as far as like an entry weapon, this is a 14-inch. You see how much shorter it is? So when you're going in a house, it's much easier to swing through hallways, but it's going to spread a lot quicker. This is a G36. It fires 223 rounds. There's the magazine for it. Holds 30. It's
plastic, huh? Great sound, that, huh?
You're moving spot to spot.
I think this is where the training comes in. You know, like in soccer, they say, how come David Beckham's so good at free kicks, you know, and he'll tell you, practice, practice, practice. Here we go. I can see the grouping from here, unbelievable. Good grouping.
Thanks.
I'd have you on my side.
These lads are obviously crack shots, but just how good are they, and what does it take to be a member of SWAT?
What'd you say?
What your score was?
Yeah, I got 100, but I'd lie and say it was 100 anyway if the camera was on, right? It was 100. I got them all in.
What would happen if you got, say, a low score? Would you have to...
A 90 is the lowest score. Yeah, to qualify like a normal police department. Now, they don't use these weapons, but with a normal handgun score, they can score a 70 and still carry a weapon. We can't score any less than a 90 and be on the SWAT team.
Next up, it's my turn, and the Sarge sorts me out with some proper hardware.
Just take this over your left shoulder and around your head. There you go. Just like that, okay? And then I'm sure you've handled a weapon before, so just like that. You have your aim point here.
Yeah.
One click down, semi-automatic. So you pull the trigger, it'll just fire one round.
Right.
Both click down, so if you go all the way down,
yeah.
If you pull the trigger, you hold the trigger back, it'll discharge until you're out of ammo.
Okay.
Okay? Keep that red dot right in the center of his chest and just pull back nice and slow. And hold the trigger back. That's it, that's it. All right, headshots, go for the head.
Now I get to see just how deadly this weapon really is.
All right, so go fully automatic, all the way down, 1, 2. Just hold it to the rear and let it ride, okay?
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Whoa!
There you go. There you go. Weapon on safe. There you go. Okay, good. Okay. There you go.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
It was a nice little rush, isn't it?
That's
Yeah,
something, isn't
super. We got him anyway.
it? Yeah.
Did you?
Very good.
That's it. There's the. That's where he said I had to get inside. So I think there's one out there, but he got it there, and then this was the semi. Look, one right there.
It's all very well to go firing at paper targets, but what if I was faced with the real thing? It's not just about pulling the trigger. It's the years of training that go into making a SWAT cop that makes them such a deadly force. With the sound of gunfire still ringing in my ears, I head back over to the Eastern District to meet Lieutenant Rob Quick of the Violent Crimes Impact Division. They were formed in '91 to focus on gun crime, drugs and gangs. They're responsible for half the narcotics arrests in the city. I hit the streets with Rob, who brings me up to speed with the area and fills me in on why policing is in his blood.
What made you decide to join the force?
It was a family affair. My grandfather was a Baltimore City policeman. My uncle, his son, so it was on my mother's side, was a Baltimore City policeman. I was very close with him and my grandfather growing up. I knew right away it's what I wanted to do.
How many cars we got out tonight, do you think, Rob?
Tonight we've probably got about 12 cars going. 4 squads, 3 cars per squad generally is about the rule. We're on the prowl. Guys will begin to drive around and look for suspicious activity, monitor the radio for any calls for service, which might be something we'd want to address.
And every incident, even when you pull a car over, whatever, there's always that threat, isn't there?
There is. You never know what you're going to experience out here.
One squad patrols up ahead, sniffing out and spotting potential suspects. The team have license to roam throughout the city districts. It's instinctive police work, and there is no substitute for experience. As dusk draws in, we get a call from the boys up ahead.
As suspected, got an informant information about an area we had just driven through a little earlier, Milton Avenue and Biddle Street. It's a pretty known heroin shop. They got some information that a particular individual is dealing down there right now. It's here on the right.
Rob notices one of the lads acting suspiciously as we pull up.
Gentlemen, how we doing? Everything okay? But what were you doing in that alley?
I wasn't in no alley.
You were never in an alley? No. I didn't just see you walk out of the alley like a minute ago.
No, you saw me walking down the street.
Is it in the street, but not the alley?
No.
God, I'm gonna beg to differ with you for a minute, okay? You don't have any ID on you, though?
No.
Gotcha, all right. Greg, you got him for a second? Could check something out.
As a norm, a dealer will stash their drugs close by in order to avoid getting caught red-handed.
They saw the guy with a baseball cap popped out of here and went back in with them. They want to search him a bit more, I think, so I think he might have something in his shoe, but it's a needle in a haystack trying to find anything.
He denied being in the alley, and I know I clearly saw him exit the alley, so that could be one tell that there is something back here. You see the sandwich baggies, that's the indication. Generally speaking, the higher concentration you see them in an area, the longer that they've been using that to lay the drugs down.
We have no joy in the alley, but one of the lads has noticed a woman acting suspiciously, and he confiscates her purse.
Is it what's in here, what I think's in here? She said yes, which referring to drugs, so I don't know how it is.
$6 gel caps of heroin, don't see them all every day. A few more in there.
Yeah, she's a couple.
Gotta have it. For how long? Generally speaking, at the street level, the dealers are users. They're either juveniles trying to make money or adults with habits trying to support the habit by selling.
When we came by the first time, she had this little purple purse in her hand, and she actually was right here in this alley. She handed a guy a small object. So as I circled the block to check it out, Lieutenant Quick had saw somebody else in that alley down the other end, so she had an opportunity to go inside the house. So as we were within the block or so, she came outside the house, sat down on the steps, still had the purse in her hand. She set it on the steps. I just asked her if I could talk to her, picked her purse up, and it was immediately apparent that there was gel caps of heroin in there. So I asked her if she admitted to it. So.
We do a routine check of the scene and move on. But it's like a crime a minute in the Eastern. And on the next block, we pull up a car with a couple of young men in it. Rob suspects drugs, and he sends a dog in to have a sniff.
We're just saying the driver looks really nervous. He's sweating. He just put his head down, he was shaking his head.
When the dog stops and stares, he just alerted for the presence of narcotics.
The suspects are asked to leave the vehicle so the dog can get in closer.
Well, they've put the dog around, the dog's alerted, and one of the officers said if it points, it's drugs or a gun. But the boys are saying there's nothing to say that they weren't smoking earlier in their marijuana or something like that, but the driver did look nervous.
This lot get lucky, as all of a sudden we get a tip-off. Someone is dealing drugs a couple of blocks away.
One unit's pulling up in the area right now. See what he reports. Is it your pocketbook, yes or no?
Yeah, that's my pocketbook.
It's your pocketbook?
Yeah.
I feel packaging for drugs inside of here.
Packaging for drugs?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh.
And that would be what I'm feeling.
All right, well, like I said, that's not my pocketbook, so...
But you said it was your pocketbook.
Stand up. It's not my pocketbook.
Okay, is there anything else on you?
No.
Yellow top vials of a white substance that more likely than not is going to come back cocaine when analyzed. This is a common area for sales of cocaine. It's commonly the way in which it's packaged. So my guess is on cocaine.
Not only have we found the suspect we were tipped off about, but we also arrest her mate who has a bag full of heroin in her possession.
Is this the lady here that we were looking for?
I believe so. I haven't had a chance to confirm
so
that
the other
yet.
one just got caught in it?
Frankly, her description was pretty similar as well. If you notice, they both have white shirts, and my understanding was the information was a female with a white shirt. So I think it could have been either one, and probably these guys seeing that I stopped one, keyed in on the second, just in case. And in this situation, both of them were dirty.
Swept the net.
Yes.
Got two in one. Yeah. Is she sitting there working for somebody?
More likely than not.
She can't afford that, could she, or what?
Generally not.
So someone would be saying, right, you sit here, when they pull up, just give them the thing. So she's got caught up in it.
Generally speaking.
It's a shame. 16 years old.
What I've learned is that for Rob Quick and his team, it's about making small, steady inroads into the drug and gun problems. It's been a successful night, and we head back to the station to process the suspects. I've been in Baltimore nearly a week, and I'm beginning to appreciate the risks, threats, and frustration the police face every day. But to fully understand what being one of the toughest police forces in the world is all about, I need to meet the violent criminals they're dealing with. I head over to the west side of the city to meet former local drug dealer Vinnie Jones, whose life has been overshadowed by gun crime.
I had a situation prior where a guy had killed my father, and
with a gun?
With a gun.
Was he a dealer?
No, he was actually a drug user. It was some type of like a robbery going sour, what have you. But in the process, my father lost his life.
In the ultimate act of revenge, Keith lay in wait for his victim.
We came out of the alley. When I came out of the alley, he turned like this, and that's when I stood up. Boom, boom, boom. He fell. Boom, 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 boom. The street justice was that, man. You either be of the survival of the fittest, you either be a wolf or you will be a sheep.
Keith was sentenced to 35 years in prison, and it was there that he reached a turning point in his life.
I went to my cell and I looked in the mirror, and you know what I said to myself? I said, man, this shit is not working. And I started investigating religions. I started reading and stuff. I said, man, I gotta get myself together,
Keith now spends his time talking to young people about gun crime, and it's this matter that I need to get to the bottom of.
I said to you, go and get me a gun. How long do you honestly think it would take you to get me one?
If I called an old friend, I probably could get one within an hour or two.
Within an hour?
Yeah.
And so can all these kids?
So can these kids. They probably can get it quicker. They can get it quicker because the reality is what they do with the drug money is that they buy guns. And then even...
And is that to make them a bigger wolf?
Yeah.
So these police are putting their
life on the line.
Every night.
Very dangerous job.
Every night they're going out.
I would never have the job. Even if I wasn't a convicted felon.
The cold facts are that on just one street in Baltimore, an estimated $10 million can be made dealing drugs every year, and the gun is a surefire way of protecting that money. Just as I finish with Keith, a call comes in from control. The SWAT team have been mobilised, and they're on their way to a highly charged situation in the centre of town.
So we're just going to go up there and see what's going on.
When I get there, the police are closing down the block and the crowds are held back.
Guy that came out with a machete after the kids in the street, and now he's gone back and said he's got a revolver, 38 revolver, so he's barricaded himself in the house apparently, so this could be a long one.
The first team are getting ready to go in and extract the original cops from the line of fire.
First one of the week, is it?
Yes, sir.
Helicopter up there as well. Everything's here.
I'm going to follow the SWAT team up for a closer look.
This guy's barricaded himself in up this side street. They reckon he's got a machete and a gun. He's done time in Vietnam. He's about 60 years old. And there's the armoured car there. You can just see the SWAT guys here up the side. Come here.
Hey, we want to move out of the line of sight altogether. If he has a long rifle, you want to be out of line of sight so he can't shoot you.
Can't shoot somebody, yeah.
Well, especially you. Yeah.
But he might not have liked my films, John.
Maybe he wants an autograph.
It's all going on around me. You can sense that the team are on edge as the operation starts to unfold.
The guys that were here first on the scene, we basically chased him back into the house. They've had to stay there and secure him. So then the van's gone in, got them in the van now, brought them back out to safety. So now the boys, that's why we saw the boys with the big shields going in.
SWAT have carried out the first part of the job. They've removed the patrol officers who were first on the scene. It's then that the negotiators come forward, and I managed to get hold of one for a word.
What's going on?
Most of the snipers are here, and they're going to be setting up in their positions. Then negotiators are going to go up in the Bearcat and try and make contact with them. We can roll from there.
The negotiators are sent in, backed up by a second SWAT team, who are primed and ready to take out the suspect at a moment's notice.
The amazing thing is, they've just gone there now, them boys, and they're in full lock and load mode to shoot this guy. I wouldn't like to be that geezer now, I'll tell you that.
It's been 4 hours since the siege began. The man has shown no sign of coming out. I spot Zach from the rifle range.
It's not just jump out the van and all rush in, is it?
Rush in, at least the weather's nice. When it's raining or snowing, 4 hours can seem like a lot longer, you know that.
SWAT command decides to offer the suspect a final ultimatum. The team then moves into position to bring the siege to a close.
Tell them to come outside with his hands.
I'm told they might fire tear gas and I'm asked to clear the area. But I can't move. I need to hear what's going on. Suddenly, I'm overcome with fumes.
We're about 60 yards away and they've put the tear gas in there. It's horrible, right, gets right in your throat, makes you sneeze. I don't know how he's still in there.
The tear gas has forced a man to give up, and the siege comes to an end.
It looks like they've got him in the street now on the floor. He's here now, he's in shorts. Oh, he looks the right state.
It's hard to believe this old man has caused so much drama that half the district has been closed down.
He seems a tough bastard, though, doesn't he? Really? He's got cuts and bruises everywhere. They just said to him, "You all right?" He said, "Well, I'm breathing." Such a shame, really. It's fought for his country and that, and, you know, it's ended like this. He just said, you know, I don't know what all the fuss is about. I ain't done nothing to no one. It's sad, but we got here around about, I don't know, 6:30, so it took 5 hours to get him out. You know, fantastic job by the SWAT. You know, they took every precaution. Made sure he didn't get hurt, made sure no one else got hurt. Just all sad, mate. So there it is.
It's been an eye-opening week for me in Baltimore. It's a city where the poorer areas are suffering from mass unemployment, where making money from drugs is an easy option. A massive 10% of the population are addicts and ready to do anything to get high. It's no wonder the cops of Baltimore are struggling to cope. Being a cop here is not just about bigger firepower and taking people out. It's about training, skill, instinct, and the ability to make decisions in an instant, which makes these guys some of America's toughest cops. Coming up next, I head to the Mexican border to see how the police are attacking the drug cartels.
Each one of these spurs is approximately 2.2 pounds.
And I discover the deadliest consequences of border crime.
See the body on there, look. Jesus. You can actually smell the blood.